This is a Samsung mini motherboard here, and what is the fault of this motherboard? Let me first power this board and let's see the faults together. Now if I should power this board, look from here, this is the indicator here, and look at the VC. If I power the board, I've power here. Now what's going on? Maybe power, sorry. It's like they didn't connect the power switch. Let me quickly do that. Okay, this is the power switch. So I want to test it, so I will first see what is wrong with the motherboard. Remove my DC supply. Now power. You can see I've powered my board, and look at the DC consumption here. You see, the problem now is if I should remove this charger, your display is off, and as you can see here, the system is still on. But if you look closely, actually they said the display is always going off, but if you should look closely, it's actually showing internally. So kí ni issue fault body tẹ́ bá your charger, ó máa only display ló ń dà láàmú tẹ́ bá ti your charger, but display kò actually on display, but on display sínú ni. And tẹ́ bá wo, look at now, I have the battery, I have the power indicator, battery has checked, that is why this indicator switched off. Now níbo la ti máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ fault? Where do we get to start from this kind of fault? Basically, since I'm sure I have the display in both battery and adapter mode, we'll start from the LVDS section. And how do we get to start with that? Yeah, wọ́n máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú LVDS torí pé ó ń display in both battery and adapter mode. And here mo ti ní kó take time wọn kó check, because I don't even bother to look for schematic of Samsung. Basically Samsung don't used to have schematic in most cases, so I don't even bother to stress myself since I'm working on the LVDS section. Why do I conclude I'm working on the LVDS section? Basically because display is coming in both scenario, only that in battery case I don't have the backlight there, so automatically my display is fine. Nísìnyí, what do we do? This is the battery mode here, because I asked them to go and test each pin in battery mode and in adapter mode. Here, this is it here, and the only missing signal I think I find here is this particular one, this and this is 0 in battery mode, and this is 3.3 in adapter mode. This is the only difference in these two signals here. And here I'm supposed to get 19 volts. One of them has to be 19 volts, but I'm getting 4.9. Actually, I have no problem with that, because since my display is present in adapter mode with this same voltage, maybe this particular diagram is powering the 19 volt tray with just 5 volts. So nísìnyí nǹkan tí mo ń ṣàlàyé basically ni pé ìgbà tó compare voltage méjèèjì, eléyìí ló miss níbẹ̀ 3.3, eléyìí wá jẹ́ 0 ní battery mode. And nǹkan tí mo tún doubt níbà yìí is eléyìí 4.8, 4.9, this is 5 volts, and normally ó yẹ kó jẹ́ 19 volts as usual, but mi ò ní problem pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ nítorí pé kí ni 19 volts mi tó jẹ́ èyí tí mo expect kó jẹ́ 19 tí n bá lo adapter, display mi wá, iná mi tàn perfect. So now what I will do is I will bypass this 3.3 voltage. I can't really determine this voltage because there is no schematic. But what I think I will do, and I have to be careful with in doing here, is if I'm going to bypass this voltage, I will look for that 3 volt that comes after power button, but not before. Else, if this voltage is present before power button, this board might be just showing white immediately you plug in your battery or charger. So let's quickly go through that and trace which one I'm going to use. I'll remove the board. In fact, it can happen in different kind of scenario. Like oríṣiríṣi faults ni ó lè come up in this kind of thing. Tó máa ní ó máa ṣiṣẹ́ perfect pẹ̀lú battery, bóyá kò ní display, ó máa ṣiṣẹ́ perfect pẹ̀lú charger, kò ní display pẹ̀lú battery, or ṣiṣẹ́ perfect pẹ̀lú battery, kò display pẹ̀lú what was it called, charger. So tí àwọn oríṣiríṣi issue bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wà, èèyàn máa ń compare voltage méjèèjì in those two cases ni. So now that we know what we are going to do here, I will carefully trace this, and let's see. I'll plug in my DC, and this is the consumption here. So Now let me power my board. You know we are targeting which pin is that? We are targeting pin number what? The third pin. Okay. From pin 1. First let me check what I have on my pin 1. 5 and 0 volts. Here when the board powered I have 5 volt there. Okay. And this is the third pin here. Let me show you guys. Third pin 0. Okay, now let me power the board and let's see. Okay. I'll power my motherboard and look at the indicator here. As you can see, I power the board. Now let's check the voltages. Pin number 1, what do I have there? I have 4.9 volts, which is 5 volts. Okay. And the third pin, I have 3.3 volts. So out of those 3.3 volts, I'll pick on any one of them. I can check this and see. I can check this. Let me start from top. So this is what's it called? Let me confirm pin number 2. Pin number 2. I have 3.3, so I'll turn off this motherboard and I'll check if I have voltage there before power. Now I've given supply and as you can see no voltage as you can see. Now I'll tap from this particular pin. I'll bypass from this particular pin to this pin. Now I can pick from any other angle, but I'll pick on this from here down to here. Look at this 0 case. I'll pick from here, this second pin here, down to here. That this, I'll pick from this pin here. I've off it, don't worry. I'll pick from this pin here down to the which pin here? The third pin here. That is exactly what I'm going to do. So missing that the text pin tafelu. Ibi tó léwu sí a gbọ́dọ̀ lo èyí tó ń wá after power. I need that a gbọ́dọ̀ lo èyí tó ń wá before power. If not, system yẹn lè máa show funfun. So I need that lo èyí tó ń wá after power. So but machine ni pé màá bypass màá need the jumper cable níbí báyìí. So màá bypass from here down to this place. So quickly màá sáré ṣe yẹn and I will get back to you guys. So this is it here after the jumping. At the jump, as you can see, better. Actually, this jumper pad is still the same thing at that same pin number. This third pin that is going to be pin number 9. Let me come under the microscope for you guys. This is it here. You see, it's like I've described from here to here. This same line is still the same thing with this. Let me make it more clearer. Yeah, you see. So now let's go for testing. I have to use both battery and adapter first. Oh, let me power with my DC first and let's see if everything is fine. At the jump, it's jumping here. Ooh. Now this is the reading here and let me power my board. I want to see if everything is fine before doing anything. Diode range. Okay. I have the power switch at the other side of the board. Now trigger. My board has powered and I should have flashlights here. Yeah, the light has flashed, so display has come. Now let me test with the screen. Basically àwọn issue ó tàn kò ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú battery, ó tàn ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú kíní kan, kò ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú kíní kan. Àwọn methodology téèyàn lè fi cache fault yẹn nìyẹn. Okay, the screen. I'll need the battery. So I'll test exactly like I tested earlier on. So now let's go for first. I don't connect the screen. Okay, connected. First I'll test with adapter. Let me power with battery. Do I have anything? The battery is not well connected. Okay. Yeah, the power switch is not connected. So now let me do this. It's like there is no light on this, but let me use charger first. This battery is connected. I have the charging light and I have the charging reading over there. Now let me test by pressing power. Do I have display or not? Yes, I have my display. So now let me remove charger. You can see again. I've plugged in the charger. Look at the screen. Let me remove the charger. So case is solved. Basically, killer chamber. I'm running at the charge battery now. You can see it's still running on battery. Basically, killer chamber just the jumping. And to that case too, that's how you catch that kind of fault. You have to test in both mode and note the missing one there and see what's wrong with the one. But if there had been schematic, it would have been easy to understand exactly what's going on. But based on experience, at least I don't need schematic for some job. As you can see. Thank you. Battery